Hey guys. Okay, I got a dream. I had a dream. Jesus Christ gave me a dream to, I guess, evaluate my psychology, dealing with fear, I think. Fear. And what it was this. I'm going to explain the dream and then I'll attempt to explain it to you. So, I'm in this dream and I'm a fireman, but I wasn't on duty or anything. Like, I'm a fireman. I'm wearing a fire got my fire badge. I'm a fireman, and there's five of us, and we get a call, and we get in a fire truck, and we're blasting down the street, and I'm in a big giant city like New York or something, and so we get to where the call is, the fire, but there's no fire, so we're standing around looking, and all of a sudden, this giant monster comes up out of the ground and it's fucking huge. And I look at it, and it's Godzilla. And it's down the street, and it's coming towards us. It sees us, our lights flashing on the truck and everything, and it's kind of starts coming for us. So we fucking run. I run across the street, and I tell my guys the best place to be is a parking garage because it's gonna step on the parking garage, right? And I figure I'm thinking I gotta think fast because it's gonna kill us, Godzilla. And so we run across. I'm panicking. I'm fucking panicking. I run across the street. I say in the parking garage on the lower level by the pillars. You know the pillars that hold up the levels in a parking garage. So there's like four levels, 4 or 5 levels, and they all have pillars. Well, there's a chance if we huddle around the pillars, maybe they'll dig us out after Bigfoot Godzilla steps on it. So we're in there, and he don't step on it, and he comes up beside the parking garage, and he looks down to where the pillars are, and you can see his eyes at the pillars where we are. We're huddled around the pillars of the parking garage, cement parking garage, and well, I guess I'm just trying to give you a picture. Anyway, he's walking around out there after he's done looking at us, and he's trying to find a way in or something to get us. And I'm thinking, why the fuck is Godzilla after us? I mean, we're downtown New York or whatever, and Godzilla's got a beat on me. Like his intent is to kill us, only us, not the 10,000 street people, politicians, suit and ties, fucking street people, working class people. All the people of a city are running all over the place. Cars on fire because he just smashed a bunch of cars trying to get us. But he's only after us, the firemen. There's five of us, all huddled around this fucking pillar. So I'm thinking that. I'm thinking, why is Godzilla's intent on us? It makes no sense to me. And I question that in the dream. Like as I'm huddled around, but fucking fear of my life. I'm like, why is this goddamn thing on us? You know, it made no sense. So anyway, Godzilla gets up and he walks around the parking garage, and I go make a beeline out the other side, the far side of the. Tell my guys run out there on the other side of the parking garage, and we'll escape. So we do that as Godzilla's circling around the parking garage. We circle around, and we're on the street again, and he's looking for us. Boom, and he's looking for us, and all of a sudden we hear another rumbling, and also we look over, and above the buildings, a bigger Godzilla comes out. The real Godzilla. I mean, Godzilla. And this fucking thing is like skyscraper tall. Holy fuck. So that was baby Godzilla. And so we run down the street again trying to get away somewhere. But we end up back in the pillars at the bottom level. And mom is coming down the street and she's smashing buildings, like knocking buildings over, and I can't believe it. She saw us on the street, and now she's coming for us. I'm like, what the hell? Why is this Godzilla? I'm running across the street, diving behind cars, and I got a chance in hell. I think the only chance I got is to outflank her and get out of her line of sight because she's following us. So that means it's just like a fucking cougar stalking you. Get out of his line of sight, get out of his way, and get the fuck out of there, or a bear or anything. Like if a bear is following you and you have a chance to jump in a car, jump in the car. The bear don't know where you are anymore, so it won't follow you, right? So I'm thinking that way. Godzilla's following you, is gonna step on you. Get out of his fucking way. Get out of his line of sight. Get out of his intent. Maybe it'll get distracted. That's what I was hoping for. It'll get distracted so we can make a break for it off into the alleys and things. Anyway, nope. She comes along and steps on the fucking 5-level parking garage. Boom, and a fucking concrete smashes down around us, and it's like concrete, 5 levels of concrete over top of this pillar, and we're around the pillar. So my intent was exactly that. Get around the pillar so the concrete don't fall on us. So we survived the initial attack. 3 guys I noticed are gone. I don't know what happened to them. They're gone. Maybe they're dead. I don't know. But me and my boss of my group, he was my boss. He goes, "Come on, we'll go. Whoa, Godzilla's doing something. Like it's still its intent was to kill us, as far as we were concerned." So we run up. We climbed through the broken levels to the top because we couldn't get out any other way. We had to go through the top because the 5 levels crashed down like that. We crawling up the top, and we're crawling up the top. We're crawling up the top, and there's rebar sticking out everywhere, and smoke and dust and fucking. And we both get up. My buddy was in front of me, and we climb out to where we can either jump or crawl down from the top level near the other pillars of the side of the parking garage. So we do that. My buddy climbs up to the edge or walks up to the edge. I'm right behind him. And all of a sudden we see this skin come up, and it's his head, Godzilla's head. And we're like, and I see my buddy go, "Oh, fuck," like that, right? And I go, "Oh, shit, we're done. We're dead." And all of a sudden, this eyeball comes up, and he pulls back a bit, and he's looking at us. And it's Godzilla, like just like the movie. I mean, detailed as shit. My heart is fucking pounding. I don't know what I'm gonna do except die. Then it doesn't let out a roar or anything. It looks, all of a sudden it gets all humble and shit. And he goes, and he puffs out wind and it hits us out of his nose. He breathes, he goes, and he's scary as hell, but I feel it's like his intent is like not gonna kill us. He just wanted to check us out, sort of thing. And that confused the shit out of me. And that was it. I woke up. My fucking heart was pounding like you believe. So I'm laying in bed and I'm awake now. Holy fuck. What the hell is that? All of a sudden, Jesus Christ, the guy I'm with, he goes, "What do you think of that dream?" And I go, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I knew it was him. I could see him. He goes, "What do you think of that dream?" And I go, "Are you fucking kidding me? That was crazy, man." He goes, "Yeah, yeah." He goes, then he said these things. He goes, "You're well seasoned." He goes, "You're well seasoned. Most people don't. So most people don't. Most people wake up after they first see it. It's like baby Godzilla. Most people wake up from their dream." I go, "Fuck, I almost did." He goes, "You're well seasoned." I go, "Well, what does that mean? You know?" And he goes, "You survived. You went through the whole fucking dream. Almost less than 1% of people wake up before they get to the end of the dream." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know all about that." But and then he just butts in. He goes, "You're too close." I go, "What do you mean with that?" He goes, "You're too close." I go, "What do you mean by that?" He goes, "You'll lose you lost your reasoning. You're losing your reasoning." I go, "What does that mean?" He goes, "Well, you see, you're supposed to wake up because you're afraid. You're not afraid anymore." I go, "Okay." And normally I would have, but after what I've been through my whole life in the physical world with fear, that's nothing. He goes, "Well, I got more dreams." He goes, "You want to see the rest of them?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, go back to sleep." And I go, "Well, I've got to piss. I got to wake up." He goes, "Tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow." So tomorrow's today. It's 5 a.m. right now. So I expect another dream. But anyway, he said the reason he gave me the dream was I'm supposed to wake up. He wanted to figure out what my fear limit was. When you're afraid and you're in panic mode, most people wake up when they have that fear and panic. I didn't. I saw it to its end. It's the dream, crazy dream. And I go, well, I continued talking to him, by the way. I said, "What the fuck?" I knew something was wrong. So you gotta put that in there. And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, well, there's 1 million people in the city running around the streets dying from Godzilla, and the baby Godzilla and Mama Godzilla only intent was to chase us, chase the firemen. And I questioned that in the dream. Like, why in the fuck is Godzilla chasing us around? So your dream is flawed. I didn't wake up, I didn't recognize it, but I questioned it in the dream. Like, why is this thing chasing me? It made no fucking sense. And another thing, this is psychological. I think it's psychological. Why are we firemen? Why are we firemen in the dream? I wanted an answer to that because Godzilla spews fire, right? When he's fucking raging, when he's raging. I go, yeah. I told him, I go, you need more fire in your dream. I'm a fireman. I'm supposed to put out the fire. And he goes, yeah, you're right. And he goes, George Soros is fire, right? And I go, yeah, fire starters. The politicians, the fucking politicians that start fires, start agendas, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, fucking LGBTQ, wars, the fire starters. Godzilla was a fire. I wasn't putting that shit out. I couldn't stop that fire. But we were called to it. I couldn't stop that fire, man. It would kill everybody. So it's like a nuke. And he goes, yep. And he goes, you were the fireman. He goes, that's not part of the dream. My dream is Godzilla. In your psychology told you were a fireman. He goes, I watched the whole dream with you. I was watching the dream in your head. You were a fireman, and you came to put out a fire, but the fire you got to was Godzilla. And my intent in the dream was see how fucking long you'd last before you woke up. But you didn't wake up until the end of the dream. Do you understand? It's so complex. When you're dealing with Jesus Christ in the spirit world, in your mind, it's so complex. It's so nitpicking, the psychology of it. And I'm just breaking the surface. This is just surface topics of the psychology of the dream. There's a lot more involved in it. Things I can't even bring out yet. I get. Because Jesus the other day when I was shooting Chris in the head, I had a rough day. Like Monday, it was bad. I woke up and the girls are all screaming. And when the girls scream, my family scream at me a word, they want me to get it in my head. So I woke up and they're going, you're confronting sinners. You're confronting sin. You're confronting sin. You're confronting sin. And I go, what do you mean? I'm confronting sin. And they said, Chris is a sinner and you're confronting sin. And I didn't really get it, but there's a psychology behind that, a Christ psychology behind that. Meaning, in the spirit world, I'm confronting sin. Chris, right? Chris is a fucking Doom City, put it that way, with sin. I mean, dildos up your ass, fucking everything, sexual perversion to fucking psychological crazy, off the church crazy. So, and I'm shooting him in the head over a fucking air conditioner in the spirit world. So, in the spirit world, I'm shooting him in the head consciously. But in that psychology of that, the whole psychology of that. I'm confronting sin. Basically, I'm not going to stand for your fucking utter bullshit and your fucking loser mentality of sin or whatever. I ain't fucking standing for it. Either you fucking be a human, turn the fucking thing off, or you die. My intent is on his death spiritually. And I'm almost there. Whatever. He knows all about it. He's been told. Anyway, which leads on to why I can do what I'm doing. And another thing was, Chris's spirit got two guys to come beat me up in physical. And not they're spirit people, but they come beat up my fucking soul. Now they can only get me when I'm sleeping, more or less. They can get me while I'm awake, but it's harder for them to do that because they don't see me. Once I leave the spirit realm, my body is back in my body. My soul is back in my body. It's harder for them to see. But there's a sweet spot in time between waking consciousness and sleeping consciousness in the physical where they can get me. And that's the point where you fall asleep. You fall asleep. And this is yesterday or the day before yesterday. I was falling asleep at my mom's house because I can't sleep in my house because of the fucking air conditioner. I fallen asleep. And Christ goes, go to the Regent Priest. I'm like, fuck the Regent Priest. I ain't going to the Regent Priest. I'm done with the Regent Priest. Well, I'm mad at him, but I'm not mad at everyone there. But as a whole, I can't deal with it. I go, no, I ain't going there. He goes, well, you gotta go to the Legion. And I go, okay. So I'm on my way to the Legion, and he goes, you're in trouble, Rich. There's two guys. Chris got two guys. Christina got two guys to come kick your ass for retribution for fucking shooting Chris in the head. Well, I'm like, what are they gonna do? I'm with you. You ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't gonna do nothing. What are they gonna do? As soon as they fucking hit me, I'm gonna shoot them in the head, and it hurts. Damn, I'll stab them, I'll fight them, or whatever. But until they do something, really, I ain't fucking doing nothing. They can sit off and mouth off at me all day. Shut up. I'm going to sleep. So I'm thinking this is a psyop from Christ. Well, I go, there's another guy with him, with Christ. So I'm like, I think he was a Regent Priest there to take me to the regions. I go, look, I can pull the guy to you, which is what they wanted me to do. I can pull the guy to me, and you can grab him. And they go, okay, do that. So I had to tune in to the guy that I don't know who the fuck he is. Just some spirit out there. But the guy was bitching and yelling and screaming. When I hear the yelling and screaming, I tune into the spirit of my attacker. And then I pull him to me. Boom! He comes right to my chest. Boom! Bounces off me. I bend down, and Jesus Christ grabs him as I pull him to me. And Christ was amazed by that I could do that. I fuck, dude, give me a break. Normally, I put a knife in his neck, but you're here to grab him. So, whatever. But I wanted to tell you that the dream, because that's the psychology of Christ. He has dreams for every issue you have. And we were having a big fight the other day about LGBTQ trans people, you know, with their agenda. I'm not against the trans people. I ain't against the gays. I ain't against anybody, man. Whether you're Christian or not. If you're Islam, I'm against you. I got no time for a fucking death cult. Fucking, you're Islam, you should be deprogrammed. That's it. But as far as the only thing I don't like about the LGBTQ fuckers is you're a gang now, an ideology with political influence brought to you by the globalists. So you sold. He goes. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of lessons for them to be. If they're Christian, Christ can take care of you, more or less. That's what he told me. He goes, we got everything we need, and I go, well, if you're a trans person, how the fuck do you deal with their psychology? He goes, we'll take care of it. We got it all figured out. And I'm like, holy shit. And that freaked me out because I didn't think, but makes sense to me. But what I'm thinking is, it's the ideology, when they made this group, the LGBTQ guys, and they made it an agenda, and they stamped it with a rainbow, and made it an agenda worldwide, the globalists, on down to where it fucks up a whole country with all that shit. It's crazy, man. I get it, but I can't say it. Anyway, that's what their intent is. The politicians, the whole politician party, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, they do this in politics. George Soros makes all these fucking groups, destabilizes your country, and the fucking thing grows, and they push the limits on the dysfunctional agenda to see how far they can get before we fight back. And when we fight back, and violence, physical violence, that's what they want. They don't care about the LGBT, trans, gay people. They're just there to spew the bullshit, useful idiots. They're just there to spew bullshit to you, to push their agenda. And they see how far they can push it. Make laws until we fight back with violence. That's what they want. They want chaos. So LGBTQ people die, and Christians die, conservatives die, and anybody else dies in this fucking war over a stupid fucking issue that means nothing. We're all useful idiots because as they want death. That's why it's a death cult. It ain't too fucking hard to figure out. Islam is a fucking death cult. All the other very religions are cults, but they're not death cults, not bent on death, unless they are. And that's why you're getting all your fucking immigrants coming over who are going to say Sharia law is taking over the land. You're all going to be living under Sharia. Fuck you. Shut up. And it's the same goddamn thing. Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, Antifa fucking commie fucking losers. fucking China agenda, the immigrant agenda, is to all push the limits of inversion, of satanic stupidity amongst the fucking no-brain people that don't get it. And the fucking globalists know you don't get it because you got to go to work every day. And I don't blame you, but you got to figure this shit out, and that's what they're doing. So, where was I going with this? Anyway, it's a multi-level game, man. It's a multi-level chess game. The spiritual part and the physical part. And Christ said he has to deprogram. He's got dreams and shit. If you're a Christian, LGBTQ, crazy person, he's got dreams to deprogram you, to make you see the truth. Because that's what Christ is about, to see the truth and compassion and love and getting on with it. Getting on with climbing the fucking mountain. Get off this fucking rock. And he's got, if you're a trans person, whatever that means, I think there's different spiritual reasons why a person will go trans. Plus, you gotta add up the psychology. Well, Christ can do that because Christ can see the truth in you of where you stand. So fucking, he's got dreams of help you work it out. You don't fucking run. You don't go through the world believing, putting all your faith and your fucking luxury in a fucking asshole or someone's penis or the latest dildo at the fucking shop. You don't fucking do that. The whole fucking point of being on the fucking planet is to learn your fucking self and your fucking morality in a world of fucking sin. Can you walk through the sin? Hello, baby. You're on Earth. The beast. Good luck. Now you're gonna go walk through this life alone in your soul, or you're gonna be with Christ to help you go through it. That's what it's all about. You gotta learn the lessons. You gotta fucking learn the lessons. And the lessons are morality. To get you to level fucking 13, and you never, once you get into the light, you have fucking choices from fucking, you can go to live with the ETs. You can go do what you gotta do. You're free to do what you gotta do. And that's where Christ comes in to help you out. Granted, you ain't gonna like it, because it's brutal. But in the physical, I can't say too much for the spiritual, but in the physical, your brain working with Christ is fucking brutal. So that's why Christ told me I'm confronting sin. Well, yeah. It's not, I fucking do every day. And I sin every day. My sins are little fucking wee sins. Like jerking off to fucking porn because I gotta fucking get off. It takes me all fucking 5 minutes. But then I can go through my day. But the fucking thing is, that's my sin. That's my sin of the day. I don't walk down the street and go, I'm gonna kick that fucking dog. I'm gonna beat that bag of, I'm gonna take that bag of puppies and beat it with a crowbar. Yeah, that's what I'll do. No, man. And then my intent on people out in the world, hey, how you doing? Yesterday I was riding my bike in the fucking snow coming back from the doctor's. And I'm riding up the road and there's these two people, a guy and a girl. And the fucking guy, he just looked at me and goes, You fucking cocksucker. He said something like that. You fucking. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this? You look like a fucking guy on crack or something. I didn't know this. I didn't know him from fucking Scott. So why would you fucking do that to me? Why would you do that to anybody? Is beyond me. And all I did was look him in the eye when I was riding my bike past him. And he fucking growled at me. It happens every day. And that is what. Not good, man. Not good. Anyway, guys, that's the dream, the God's little dream. Fire starters of the world. I spiritually try to stop them, physically try to stop them, meaning I identify them and whatever. I'm learning, but I know what the fuck I'm learning. And I tell Christ, George Soros, check him out, because you'll be reading his fucking portfolio for about a month of the fucking evil shit that he's done. Just stuff I witnessed on people. Tell Christ. It's so sad, man. But anyway, the dream was, and I don't know what the whole dream, I don't know what it meant, like the whole dream, because what happens when you lose fear? According to Christ, I'm well seasoned and I'm too close. You lose your reasoning. I don't think so. I'll lose my reasoning because I didn't wake up in the dream. I wasn't afraid anymore. That's a different aspect because you're supposed to get over your fear of things. I was afraid, but I wasn't afraid enough to wake up. And that concerned Christ. I'm not in the red, but I don't know what his reasoning is. Like, maybe I gotta talk to him. If I get anything else out of this, if it keeps continuing today, if I have another dream, Christ said he's gonna give me another dream. So we'll see what happens. And I'll report it back. But I'd like to know what his ultimate reasoning is. And he didn't tell me. Maybe because it would alter the dream. I don't know. But anyway, it seems to me. Well, are you hinting you have no reason to be on the earth anymore? Am I gonna die? Am I so lost in my fucking head that I have no reasoning left of good and bad? I'm fucking a veggie because I'm far from it. So I don't know. I hate pain. I fucking hate my toothache. That shit. So I ain't looking for violence. I ain't looking for it in the physical world. As far as I'm concerned, if you're a fucking nutter, if you're a useful idiot and you want to be a useful idiot, I'll talk you down. I'll talk you down. I'll talk talk fucking sense into your brain. But if you want to learn the hard way, go ahead. More power to you. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. That's the dream. I went off on a little bit, but went off topic a little bit, but it all relates. Confronting sin. I'm just trying to survive. So that's the way I see it. The bigger picture is I'm confronting sin. In a way, I am. Anyway, later, guys.